Hello.
Hallo.
Hello.
Hello.
Goedemorgen.
Goedemorgen. Here we are. Kind of.
And it's Monty's birthday.
It's Monty's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mom. Happy birthday to you.
Wow. That's actually really pretty. Thank you.
That's the choir.
It's
Yep.
very
The
nice.
ashram choir.
Yeah. It is actually quite.
We have duchies. We are swimming in duchies. We have 3 duchies now.
Dat kun je wel zien, dat is zij. Dat vinden wij allen zo prettig, ja, ja. En daarom zingen wij blij. Zij leven lang, hoera, hoera. Zij leven lang, hoera, hoera.
Too small.
Zij leven
Come
lang,
even more. Look, we have an Yvonne here.
hoera.
Come
We
on.
have an Yvonne.
Ali, you want some water for tea?
Oh, yes, please. Yeah, just hot water.
Rollo? Water?
Lang zal ze leven, lang zal ze leven.
I'm surrounded by
Lang
duchies.
zal ze leven in de
How low can you go?
gloria, in de gloria.
Gloria, in the gloria.
Hoera!
Hip, hip,
Hip,
hoera!
hip, hip, hoera!
Hip, hip, hip.
Hoera!
Okay. So that we done that. Thank you
Hello,
all.
guys.
Done that.
Hi, Rosie. Yeah, okay, we've done that. So much for birthday, huh?
No, we get a birthday cake later and a birthday
We get a
dinner.
birthday cake later. Good morning, Eileen.
We're gonna feast
Eileen
today.
says happy birthday.
So thank you, everyone.
Nilesh says happy birthday. All righty, in celebration of birthday, let's put some
No.
snow. All right, there we go. Here comes the snow. There it is. There is snow.
This is so cute.
And there's another
made up.
duchy. There's Nellie. More duchies. All righty, so, and we are
The snow's gone.
Huh?
doing Yoga Sutras.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting
And
cold.
now we are starting chapter 3. We've
Wow.
done all of chapter 1, all of chapter 2, and note that at the end of chapter 2, the 8 rung, the Ashtanga, are presented, except it only goes through 5. And then there's a huge breaking point between Pratyahara, and then the last 3 are Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Concentration, meditation, and Samadhi.
From now, all the teachings will be done in silence.
From now on, it's silence, only
Let's
silence.
set down the laptop. Go back to the meditation room.
Yeah, just go sit and the rest will come.
There we go.
Would you like a little piece of this chocolate bar?
Sure, I will, yes. We have little chocolate bars.
Shall I take this?
Thank you.
Somebody has left it.
That's one.
You want it? No?
Oh, wait a minute, I got
That's second.
a thing here.
The water is leaving.
I have to slide that out of the way so that I can put the.
You wanna sit on the couch?
Oops.
Put the couch is great.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk around.
1 minute, everybody. I'm working on it. There we are. Yoga Sutras 3.1-3.3. Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. And just to sneak a look, remember where we're going is that these three work together, called samyama, in the next sutras. There's Daniel. Hi, Daniel. It says, happy birthday, Mom.
You want a little piece of? You can have a bite.
A little bite of chocolate cookie for
Just
Daniel.
water. No tea.
And there's Sahil.
We're getting
I
old,
lost-
Daniel. I remember how young and sprite we were when we met Swamiji, and I met you for the first time.
Yeah. Hi, Johnny. Putting the candles in the chocolate hummus
I thought it was quite a good idea.
actually is a good idea. I think the chocolate hummus is firm enough to be able to hold a candle.
I think so.
I think so.
Probably. Do we have a candle?
I don't know.
We have.
barely any chocolate
We
hummus
have a
left.
candle.
We
Yvonne,
have-
do we have a candle?
We had some birthday candles there, but we
We
made.
barely have hummus left.
Well, we don't need much. A teaspoon will do. Anyway,
Raj is going to make a pie.
Raj is making a pie.
Yvonne brought a candle. So
She brought a candle.
she brought a candle. So we have a candle.
We have a candle.
Halfway there.
We're halfway there. All righty. So we don't know.
Later on.
Dharana, concentration, is the process of holding or fixing the attention of mind onto one object or place. Now, I have a comment to make on this here, on this Dharana thing. There is
Anyway,
such a
that is a
simplicity to this that I'm sad to say often gets overlooked. Think about this. Think about yourself, what you hear yourself say, and what we often hear others say. I could meditate if only I could get rid of those thoughts.
Those darn pesky thoughts.
If I could, yes, Rojo says, those darn pesky thoughts. If only I could get rid of them, then I could concentrate my mind. But I cannot concentrate my mind because of those pesky thoughts. Notice what happens. I'm just thinking of one silly example. Notice what happens when you go into a huge shopping area. You get out of your car, you park your car, you open the door, you get out. Now imagine that on this day, you know exactly what you're shopping for. Maybe we're going into the food store to get bananas. We have many, many bananas now. We got a lot of bananas yesterday, and I think Raj brought some. So we have way too many bananas, but we will eat them. But imagine that you're going in there and you're going to get bananas. And imagine that there are hundreds of other people in this area. There's many people in the parking lot, and there's many people in the store, a lot of employees. There's just a lot of activity. Now, if you know that what you are there for is some bananas, isn't it true that it's very easy to just walk straight around all the people right into the store? Isn't this true?
Mm-hmm.
And you go directly to the bananas, you pick up your bananas, you go to the cashier, and you leave.
You're out.
That's what we did last night.
Huh?
That's what we did last night to get some baking soda.
Went last night to get some what?
Baking soda.
Some baking soda.
But that's hard. There's so many other good things in the store to wander around.
Now, did you walk into the store and say to all the other people, excuse me, would you please get on your on your announcement thing and put your microphone and say, hello, attention, attention, attention. Matri is buying bananas. Everybody must leave the store now immediately. You can come back in 15 minutes.
Wow, that would be something indeed. That would be
Nobody does that. None of us would ever think of doing that.
No.
Now, Rojo pointed out that there are many other items in the store that are distracting. But even if you're Rojo, and you're going into the store
To buy cat food.
to buy cat food,
And then end up with 30 other things.
but if she knows that there's cats sitting at home that are hungry right now,
Meowing.
meowing,
Yeah.
she went home and there's little cats sitting there meowing at her and there's no food.
That's so sad.
It's so
It
sad.
is.
She goes to get cat food.
Do
Think
your
about
hungry
it.
face, Samadhi.
Huh?
Do your hungry face.
I don't,
You
Anyway,
have a-
it's just a story. I'm saying this to say, think about it. That when it comes to meditation practices, most all of us say, how do I get rid of? Do you go into that store and get on the microphone, all you people must leave because Rojo is shopping for cat food? Do they say, okay, all you employees, remove everything from the shelves except the cat food
So she can find it.
so she can find the cat food? Nobody ever does that. That has never happened. Why is this? That when it comes to random thoughts in the mind field, everybody wants to say, how do I get rid of them? How do I get rid of those bananas? How do I get rid of all that fresh fruit? How do I get rid of that stuff? I'm here for cat food. How do I get rid of all these people? Because they're between me and my cat food.
He's starting me thinking.
Starting
To
me
go
thinking.
through the store with like a derby cart or something now.
Rojo is now going to be running people over with her cart.
Or you don't beat people away to get to cat food.
You don't beat them away with a bat, whether it's a baseball bat or a cricket bat. You don't beat them away with your bat. I know that I'm being outrageously silly in this, but I'm wanting
It's
you
making a clear point.
I'm trying to make a clear point that I think that we already know, because it's so easy. It's so easy, is it not, to accidentally sit down for meditation time and think, how do I get rid of these thoughts? Concentration does not mean get rid of those other thoughts. It means this is what I'm doing right now. All I have to do, look, I'm surrounded by all these people, all these noisy people. Now, if I want, I can sit here. I ought to be able to sit here and keep talking to all of you and ignore her. See, but I can bat her away. Go away, birthday girl, go away. Or I can. She is I admit, she is a little hard to ignore. But you know what I'm
you
saying.
don't want to ignore me.
Huh?
Too cute. Today she's too cute.
Anyway, it's just a point. Concentration is the process of holding or fixing the attention onto
Actually,
one
it's also
object of
interesting
play.
when you are focused and concentrated on something, that when someone disturbs you, it feels like an intrusion, in a sense. If you don't know yet, because you're afraid you might lose it.
For example.
For example, I was just thinking, I'm sitting I'm sitting in front of the computer, and I'm focused and I'm working on something, and I really had to learn that it's okay, because you would say something, and in the beginning I would be annoyed you interrupting my concentration, so to speak. And
She would. She'd get mad at me.
And so but then
It's hard to
why
imagine how
why is it? Because one of the things is that you're
she's
afraid
doing
to
it
lose,
right now.
you
She's
lose your
mad at me.
concentration. I'm mad at you. And so the thing is that the concentration is a state of being, not so much also where you direct your attention to. I can be focused to the computer. You ask something, I concentrate on what you're saying, and in the same mode, I concentrate back, and it's not an interruption of concentration.
And this is a very important point, because one of the things that we want to be able to do, it sounds so simple, so obvious, is we want to practice, all of us, and we can do this right in the middle of life. We want to consciously practice re-aiming my attention.
And that
So
can be done interrupted, and then
that
the concentration
it's
is
not
broken.
really an interruption, and,
Yes.
and it's not broken because I'm in charge of my attention. I can turn my attention over here to Adi. I can turn my attention over here to Matri.
Yeah.
I can see Yvonne over there. And so I ought to be able, shouldn't I, to direct my attention around?
Yes.
And then I'm not getting
Socially.
distracted.
Yeah.
I don't have to get Raj to leave the living room because he keeps walking through with teacups. Go away, Raj. Go away.
Do
Go
you
away.
want anything to drink, Samadhi? Like a cup of coffee? Did he ask you already?
No, he didn't ask me.
That's
I
why
asked you.
I did not get asked.
You want a cup of
What
coffee?
do you want?
Mocha?
I don't know. I'll have a mocha latte decaf with soy milk.
Let me call Starbucks.
No, I know how to make it. I'll make it.
You
Am I
want some hot
permitted?
chocolate?
No,
All righty. That's what mocha is. Chocolate.
Is that what it is?
That's what mocha is. Mocha means chocolate.
Plus coffee.
A little bit of chocolate in your coffee with soy milk.
I see.
And it really didn't matter. I didn't need it, but I'll have it if it's there. Thank you. You're not supposed to do this stuff. It's your birthday. You're supposed to be spoiled.
But I am spoiled.
You know, we shouldn't spoil it too much.
Well, I guess maybe this is true. But it's the joy of selfless service. It's a gift. I don't really want a coffee, but I'm giving you a gift. It's my birthday present to you.
I'll take it.
What do you think? How's that? That's pretty cool.
Superb.
Anyway, so note here. Now, I know this is just words on a sentence and they could easily be changed. But the suggestion here is holding and fixing attention of mind on one object or place. It is not a process of getting rid of everything else. Nowhere do you ever see that written with a description of concentration, do you? I've never seen that.
But what it needs is a decision
Yeah.
before you start concentrating.
Before, during,
You need a want to concentrate.
but I'm trying to hold out the part that it's so gentle. We let it turn into a fight. We do. We let it turn into a fight. I want to do Samadhi. I'm going to concentrate so hard that I'm going to get Samadhi. Even Swami Rama has told us that in his youth, he practiced for years on this meditation stuff, and he finally went and complained to the boss. He said, I keep doing this, and all that happens is I get a headache. And if we get a headache from trying to do this, it means, check it out for yourself, it means that we are working very, very hard, probably to tighten these muscles in here so that I can concentrate. See, now I'm concentrating on the little camera on the laptop. Can you see me concentrating at you? I'm really looking at you. And if Adi gives me a hard time, I'm going to throw this thing at him. Because it's all his fault that I'm having a problem concentrating. So, but see, so you just keep doing this, you get a headache. The idea of concentration is very, very gentle. Think about Rojo going in to buy the cat food.
Mm-hmm.
If she's really totally stressed out and she's just got a head of steam going and she's running into people to get to the cat food, this is not good. But if she's okay and she's calm and peaceful, it's no big deal. Just park the car, get out of the car, walk in the door, get a little car, ride to the cat food department and get your cat food.
I think in meditation and its practice, Swami Rama uses the phrase relaxed focus or something.
Relaxed focus. Yes, you're right. But it's relaxed focus. It's very, very gentle. Now, if you're able to do that, meditation is sustained concentration. That's all it is, where the attention continues to hold the same object or place for a little while without distraction. And again, that has to do not with getting rid of those other people or objects. It has to do with staying with the cat food. Now imagine that you were a cat. There's a little cat outside the ashram here that we give food to. And this morning I was going to put a little cup of this dried cat food in the bowl for the cat, who was sitting over there, I don't know, a couple of meters away, just sitting there, very patiently, just sitting there waiting for the cat food to be put in the bowl. Rojo says she went to her car and she got a little can of this real gooky, wet sort of cat food. And so the cat got a bonus, got its dried cat food and a little container of wet. It's probably...
It's like crack for cats.
It's like what?
Crack for cats.
Scrap?
Crack for cats.
It's like crack, like cocaine, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
It's like crack cocaine for cats.
They go crazy.
Anyway, my point was the cat didn't go crazy, but this cat was totally one-pointed. He was sitting over there a distance away watching, and this is a very nice cat. He'll come by the front of the ashram and just sit there and just very, very patiently wait. You know this because sometimes I'll walk out the front door and sitting over there a couple meters away, there's the cat just sitting there very peaceful and calm, just sitting there waiting, not grumbling, not hissing, just not saying anything, but you could sort of feel the body language saying, hello, I'm ready for my dinner. Very patient, very calm. But then when you put that food there, like this morning, and there was this bonus food, that cat was very, very concentrated. So what's the difference between Dadada and Dianna? Now, nobody ever says there's an exact time on this, but the notion is that concentration can be broken and interrupted. But when it's not interrupted, doesn't mean we got rid of everything, but I'm not interrupted. I'm keeping my concentration. Well, the concentration automatically becomes meditation. Dharana becomes Dianna.
So you tune out everything and tune into that one.
But you're not doing, Raj just said, so you tune out everything else. But this is a subtle point, and I know you know this. I'm just using what you said as an example. We do not actually do an activity called tune out.
Right.
That's where we get into trouble with this stuff. We think I have to take action to, borrowing Raj's words, I have to do an action called tune out. And tune out accidentally becomes push away. Or use the club or the spoon to say, go away.
It just naturally happens.
It just naturally happens.
Did it just hit you
You
with a
are
spoon?
tuned in.
I don't know. I was so focused on him, I didn't realize.
What?
Did he just hit me with a spoon?
I wasn't there.
Nobody
I didn't see anything.
So we're all, really focused on.
We're all
Evidence
focused.
now.
Gosh, but it's recording, Samadhi.
Huh?
It's recording.
You're not in the frame.
Am I not?
We
I
can't
think
see
I
because
am.
this is
See? Yeah, it's recorded.
Anyway,
I bet Shakti was that.
what was that phrase he said? Tune it out. So you don't tune it out, and the concentration just turns into meditation.
You are tuned in.
You're tuned in, but remember, there's always language trouble. But in a sense, we're not even, and to use what Adi just said, we're not doing an activity called now I'm going to tune in. We turn this stuff, don't we, into work. And it should not be work. It's very, 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 very gentle. So I'm just sitting here and I'm just being aware of my breath in my nostrils. The air comes and it goes. I don't say, I'm going to meditate on my breath. I'm going to work. I'm going to get it right this time, Johnny. We're going to do it now. Don't do that. Just sit there and I can feel it. The air is coming and it's going. And then after some time, the concentration becomes easy. And mostly I don't even hear her voice over there talking to Raj. And it's just breathing. And then after a little while, probably look back and realize, wow, you know what? For the last 30 seconds or a minute or some period of time, I lost track of time. All I was really aware of was my breathing. This is called meditation. This is called Dhyana. I don't know if you have to put a time limit on it, put a few seconds or a minute. But no, I've never heard anybody give a time limit on this. How long do you do concentration before it turns into meditation? But there's the principle.
This is probably the hard lesson that I learned, is that I was trying to do it.
Trying to do it, yes.
And then I realized that if I prepare well until the fourth pranayama and open sushumna, then
it's
it
easy.
just happens on its own.
It's easy. It happens on its own. Very good. Thank you. That's how this deal works. So for a few weeks in a row, we've been gently moving through what Raj just said. It is systematic. I can tell you, and I'm no better than anybody else. I've struggled with the same obstacles as everybody else. I can remember when Swami Rama used to talk about systematic practice. I thought sometimes I was going to vomit because I got so tired of hearing this stupid phrase, systematic practice. And I had this feeling inside, well, when the hell is he ever going to tell us what it is? All he does, he keeps talking about sit with your head, neck, and trunk straight and breathe and all this silliness. When's he actually going to explain the systematic practice? And this is what Raj just said. It really is. What happens to us is what's the trap I was falling into at that time, those years ago, is my intelligent intellectual mind says, aha, systematic. I got it. It's going to be systematic. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. That's systematic. Wrong. That's not it. It's unbelievably gentle. How does Patanjali say you perfect your posture? Give up effort.
Relaxation of effort.
Give up, yes, suspension of effort and allowing the field of awareness to expand as if it's expanding to infinity. I'm not getting my body still and steady by holding it rigid like this. I'm doing it by letting go of effort and pretending that I'm as big as the Milky Way galaxy. 100,000 light years across. That's the size of me. Very gently. Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome, sir.
And then you let go of the effort on the breath.
And then you let go of the effort, and here we go. And what do we do with the pranayama? As somebody just mentioned, the fourth pranayama. Raj mentioned the fourth pranayama, which we talked inhalation, exhalation, and transition. And so simple. And then what is this samadhi business? Samadhi is the deep absorption wherein only the essence of that object, place, or point shines forth in the mind, as if the mind were devoid even of its own form. So what are we talking about if we went into samadhi on breath here? It's as if the mind just disappears. It's as if the mind is devoid of its own existence. It's as if all there is breath, but there is no breather, if that makes sense. Raj brought his electric piano with him, and played a little thing last night. And now if he's learning it rather well, it's kind of nice. And if he's getting absorbed in that, you can watch him while he was playing it. There'd be a few seconds where his fingers were just right and you could watch his body was moving with it, right?
Yeah, I told him that last night.
And-
It was beautiful
and
to see
there
him
he
move in
was.
and out of thinking and being.
And then all of a sudden you could see the body animated. All of a sudden some thought process was going on inside. My guess is that internally all of a sudden Raj woke up and remembered that, oh, I'm playing the piano. I don't know what was going on inside. He'll have to attest to that, but it
I was
shifted.
just thinking about what keys to
Yeah,
play.
and all of
Nine
a
words,
sudden he was thinking about what key to push next, and then there was a disruption.
Yeah.
But at those other times, there's a comment, there's a description in the English translations that are used in the Tripura Rahasya, one of the later chapters, where that text talks about samadhi-like attention. And I like that phrase samadhi-like because it allows us to get out of the debates of whether it is or is not technically samadhi. So you can say, well, it's samadhi-like. It means that the absorption is so there that it's just happening. And so this is what Matri and I were watching him as he was doing this. So he'd have a few seconds there where it appeared from the outside that he was just totally absorbed in playing, and he was not thinking about which key was next. He practiced that song so many times, and so he could be natural with it, and the sound was just coming out, and the fingers were moving, and everything was coordinated. The Manaschitta, Hamkara, and Buddhi were all coordinated, and there it was. And there was a deep absorption that appeared internally on the sound or something like that. That's the way I found it when I was listening to it. And there was no distraction. And so this is a samadhi-like kind of attention. And so the concentration started, then it turned into the meditation, then it turned into something somewhat like samadhi, just total deep absorption.
Yeah, you're not aware of the body or the playing, just the music.
You're not aware of the body or the playing,
There's some comments on it.
just the music. All right, let's see. We got comments down here. This was to you, Ma. We are still all a good-looking bunch, though. When you said we're getting old, speak for yourself. Some of us are not getting old. Happy birthday. Save us some chocolate. Not likely. Huh?
We saw those. I mean, there's.
I know, but I'm looking. I'm going. Most all of your happies be happier than the happiest hippies you've ever been happy to have had.
Thank you, John.
That's what I thought. I had exactly the same thought. Thank you, Johnny, for summarizing it. May all your hippies be happier than the happiest hippies you've ever had. He said the same thing twice.
Yeah, but
Or approximately.
Hi, Govinder.
Hi, Gurvinder. There's Gurvinder. Hey, Gurvinder. Happy birthday, says
I thought there may
Gurvinder.
be some comments about samadhi, but it's.
Well, we're still working up there to that. Terry says hello all and happy birthday, Ma. Well, you're really working this birthday thing, aren't you, Ma?
Stretching
This
it
is
out
pretty
as much
good
as
deal.
I'm cooking Christmas dinner now.
I am cooking Christmas dinner now, the only one I cook. This time I'm fully with you all, relaxing, cooking.
Nice.
Nice.
I bet it will be tasty.
Nellie says happy birthday, Ma,
Thank
with a whole
you.
bunch of ohms
Mir,
and hearts.
very sweet, everyone.
And Mir is here.
Yay.
Hi, Mir.
We have Adi and Yvonne here, Mir.
Mir, we have Adi and Yvonne. They are here.
They're really, really here.
I did not see anything either. Oh, that was when nobody saw. Yeah, that was when Ma was making false accusations against me.
But it was recorded.
Om all the time, hidden secret. Yes, Om all the time. I would throw in one caveat there with that comment, Nellie. Notice how easy it is to do Om, to remember Om, and actually be using it like a club, instead of it being a very gentle, natural point of focus and absorption.
Now they're going from
It becomes Om, Om, Om. I'm going to get rid of this thought. Om, Om,
Om.
Om,
Om.
Om,
Om. Om.
Om,
Om.
Ow.
That was a distorted Om.
Hey, I be in these bonus.
All righty. Anyway,
I see my name over there.
Yay! Hi, that's the sweet Roseanne. Adi and Yvonne, so happy to see you both at the ashram.
Oh, that's sweet.
Very sweet. And
Yeah.
B is here.
hi, B. Hello. Do we have any more?
That's it. Oh, okay. I thought maybe something.
Okay, so that was Samadhi, huh?
Now we got that figured out.
Now we got that figured out. Let's go back here to the thing and see what we got here. So here, stages of attention. It is attention in itself. So we can have attention that's not focused. It's just scattered attention. My attention is all over the place. So once you hold that it has something to do with attention, then there's a beauty to this. Allow yourself to just hold this for a moment. Attention leads to concentration if we are paying attention.
Yes.
Then magically concentration leads to samadhi,
Carry does.
as long as we're not fighting.
Meditation.
Huh?
Concentration leads to
Yeah,
samadhi.
concentration leads to meditation. And then meditation leads to samadhi. And notice that it's very, very gentle. Now go back for a moment and let's think about Raj playing the piano last night. If he did not allow this to happen gently, if he was struggling with it, would he have had even a few seconds of that samadhi-like experience of just having music? Would not have. It would have been a fight. And we all know that if you're learning a skill like playing a piano, you do it just really poorly initially. If you're in an asana class and you're trying to learn how to do hatha yoga, postural yoga asanas, it takes a little while to have it be natural, doesn't it? Same process. Many things in life
Practice.
takes practice. It takes practice. But it takes practice without fighting.
Yes, it's all about allowing.
It's about allowing, says Yvonne. It's a very beautiful word. It's about allowing, not forcing. It's about allowing.
There's a joy in that.
Huh?
There's a joy in that.
There's a joy in that. Now, I confess that after years now of hanging out with this stuff, it's come to the point that, now I don't mean this overly literally like I'm complaining about anybody, but it has become astounding to me how hard it is for people to see this simplicity of what we're talking about right now. And I acknowledge that comes after years, decades of doing it. But there really is a raw simplicity to it. And we can see the examples of this in our own daily lives, whether it's Raj playing the piano or Rojo buying cat food. Or the cat sitting there quietly, patiently waiting for the food. These are just examples that are right around us. And those examples, each of those examples was within the last 24 hours right here. So we are surrounded by that. When you are going to go turn on your computer, when you are going to turn on your computer to hang out here for a few minutes today, notice how hard or how easy it was. I'm going to make a guess here for some of you that you were doing something else and you said, oh, it's about time. And it was no big deal. It wasn't a struggle. You just went and turned on your machine and you surfed your browser, you opened a thing, and you looked, and here we are. So it just naturally, you took your attention from whatever you were doing. Maybe Nellie was starting to cook, as she said she is now. Maybe she was starting to cook and looked at the time and said, oh, I think I'll go say hello. And so just naturally turned away from the kitchen and turned to the computer and turned the machine on, and just naturally the attention turned to concentration, the concentration turned to meditation, and now Nellie is deeply absorbed in us, Ma. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And now, and hopefully
Nobody can
she's
see
not,
it, so
hopefully she's not burning lunch.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Morning lunch.
Anyway,
If she
all
would
I'm
not
saying
burn.
playfully, I'm making up a story about Nellie, and I think Nellie's probably doing her cooking by now. She may not even be with us anymore. But there is this process that we're talking about here that every one of us are already doing in daily life in different ways. I'm only saying this just to ask you, please pay attention to notice.
Yes, Roseanne will make it happen.
We are waiting for a small video with
Raj playing.
you playing your piano.
I like
Sure.
allowing that in the fun mention.
Well, I have one, and I will post it today.
But it's also letting go of habits. It's allowing.
Yeah, but note
this
too, and I'm
in
not.
the meantime, letting go of habits.
In the meantime, Adi says, in the meantime, letting go of habits. How did Rojo let go of the dog food? She did no action called letting go of dog food. She didn't say, oh no, get rid of the dog food aisle there, you workers here. Get rid of those bananas. I understand the word letting go, but it's not an action we do.
No.
Remove all the donuts. She's coming.
Yeah,
Sure.
remove all the donuts.
She'll never get to the cat food if there are donuts along
For
the way.
example, because we
For
know that
example.
she. I mean, this is a
No,
playful.
it's allowing to let the habits go.
Yeah, and again, I'm gonna keep chasing you around with the words.
That's okay.
I'm not being a critic. I'm saying, but let us all observe how easy it is to accidentally turn letting go into an action. I have a spoon here. I'm going to let go of the spoon. Boom, I let go of the spoon. You see, I did an action called let go of the spoon. Here's one. I am going to allow my spoon to fall. I gave permission to gravity. I did something. I'm just asking, please notice how easy it is to take simple language and turn it in effect into a task that I, as an ego-based person, I am doing something. You know, most of what we're doing in life out here in the world involves that most of society and family and schools teaches us how to do something, right? This is what we're trained to do.
That's a habit. That's what
Yes,
I mean.
doing.
That's
itself.
not what I mean. I'm saying that's the worst habit that we have.
Yes, that's what I'm saying also.
But if I'm living this well, I'm not allowing anybody to do anything. I'm not letting go of anything. In my example, I use, all I'm doing is sitting here breathing. I'm not allowing anything. I'm not letting go of anything. What am I doing? I'm just breathing. This is the point I'm trying to say with this thing. We, all of us, so easily turn letting it go into an activity. We turn allowing into an activity. So please feel this that I'm trying to say, and notice that we are conditioned by our culture and our families and our schools to be doers of action. We're always supposed to be doing something. And if I say that, it's like, okay, I need to train myself to not do anything. And all of a sudden that becomes an action. I'm going to intentionally do nothing. Here, Raj, watch me do nothing. See, now I'm going to do something called doing nothing. And I've already fallen into the trap. That's all I'm trying to say. I've fallen into the trap, huh?
It's very subtle. But
It's very subtle. So what do you do with the piano? What's the key? Do you do something to stop the thinking about which keys? No, you just play. You just play. You just play. You just breathe. That's all there is to it.
I was so absorbed in harmonium playing that he didn't see me coming nor hurt me. Only when I touched him, he just shook out.
Just sitting in there? Oh, yeah. Adi was sitting there playing the harmonium in the meditation room.
Yeah. And so I was going to tell him that there's a better harmonium upstairs that he can grab because he was playing with
Yeah.
them. And he was so absorbed that really jerked his whole nervous. So much absorbed he was, and so much out of whatever he was in, he came out.
Yeah, you see, that's because he was not doing the action called letting go of you.
No. I was
We can
just not
say,
in
oh,
the
well,
picture at all.
Adi,
Yeah.
just play the harmonium. Let go of my tree walking into the room. It's not relevant.
No.
It's just not. It was that he was so just, what was he doing? I'm just playing the harmonium. That's it. And so for him, you did not exist. And if you had existed for him, then he might have thought, now I need to do something called let go of her.
I think if we try to let go, we're unintentionally looking for something to let go rather
Yes.
than.
Oh, and
that's
what
right.
I doing.
And we've already fallen into the trap.
Right.
But if Adi's sitting there just playing the harmonium, or you're sitting there just playing the piano, or any one of us is just sitting there breathing, or if we're the little cat and we're just looking at the little bowl of cat food, then it's very uncomplicated. This is the spirit of what we're talking about. And so, if we do it gently, 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 without any doership or any trying,
It's just gunas playing with the.
it's just gunas playing with the gunas. But attention leads to concentration. Concentration leads to the meditation. And meditation leads to absorption. Imagine that Adi had to give an explanation to another person of how to play the harmonium in such a way that he could ignore Matri walking in the room. He could say, well, do this, and do this, and do this, and do this. But when we look at it like this, it's like, how would he even explain that to another person? It's this simple thing. Now, it makes our mind happy to be able to look at it like this, say, wow, there it is in a few sentences. Attention leads to concentration. Concentration leads to meditation. Meditation leads to absorption. That's the reason I wrote it like this. I said leads to absorption, parentheses, Samadhi.
I've noticed, if I may say so, that if I try to communicate this point, it actually helps when other people try to explain it in other words, because then you can highlight this word of that we try to find some verb of what to do if we try to express it. That's why it's this so incredible to do, because it's describing the indescribable.
And this is why we have conversation.
Yeah.
And this is why we end up maybe being a little picky sometimes about words, because it's not being picky.
No, it's trying to
It's
communicate.
through the conversation.
Yes.
That's why satsang.
And that's why that's so joyful.
Yeah, just reading this stuff out of a book or a web page is extremely, extremely difficult for most of us, it seems. But we have a conversation like this, and gradually you just become quiet and you say, wow, this is making sense. I think I want to sit here and breathe.
Yeah.
Or I think I want to go in the other room and play in the meditation room and play harmonium. Or the piano.
Yeah.
Or go pet a cat.
If I think of it in the example of playing harmonium, and you get completely absorbed, there's in that simple full example of playing the harmonium, there's also that last part that you just get dragged into it.
Yes, that's the absorption.
Yeah.
Adi, if
Same,
you
yeah.
could hear him, he's talking about how you get drawn into the harmonium. Now, here's another thing that is not being said here. Elsewhere, remember, we're on this block of sutras now talking about Dadada, Dhyana, Samadhi, which in the next sutra is going to be labeled as Samyama. But when we've talked about what is the goal of yoga as described in Yoga Sutras, it's at the end of chapter 3, which we're just starting right now, and is at the end of chapter 4. And it was in one of the sutras in the middle of chapter 2, and that is the word kaivalya. That is the liberation. That's the freedom. Now, I'm saying that just to go back to what Adi just said about the harmonium. And so when you get completely absorbed in the harmonium, or chanting for that matter, people who like getting together and doing kirtan, you do all that, brings you to a state, it brings you to a state of virtually samadhi, of deep absorption. It's not just concentrated, it's meditation, it's continuous, and nothing else is bothering you. It's like the cat with the cat food. It's deep absorption in the music. Then the next step is drop the music. And when you drop the music, then you are, thank you, Roseanne, free. And then the pure consciousness, the Purusha, does what Patanjali calls in Sutra 3 of chapter 1, Tata Drastu Svarupe Avasanam. Then the seer rests in its own true nature, which is formless. So somewhere along the way, that which we go into samadhi on, we need to let go of, because if we stop there, we're stopping short of the goal called kaivalya. We're getting no glimpse of liberation. So you play the piano, you play the harmonium, you do the breath. Why? So that you can go beyond breath, so that you can go beyond piano, so that you can go beyond harmonium. And then we get glimpses of the awareness that is formless, objectless. The self, capital S, stands alone. The Purusha, the Atman, stands alone. We are what Roseanne said, we are then free. I'm done with that doing stuff. Johnny quits. Yeah, good for you. I'm done with that doing. I'm done with it. No more doing. Except there's a phrase, it's one I quite like. It's a Swami Rama phrase. He says, what we are trying to do together is not learning how to learn. We are trying to learn how to unlearn. We have learned our way into all of this stuff. And so we are trying to learn how to unlearn. How do we do it? Be done with doing. But then obviously, it's helpful if Johnny will sit on his butt for meditation time so that he can practice doing nothing. If we're aware of this that we're talking about, thank you, Johnny, if we are aware of this, then we learn how to do the act of doing nothing. Hopefully, at least that's the principle that we're trying to do. Who knows? We can get together, Johnny and all of you. Yeah, okay. There would be a team. Nellie and Johnny sitting there doing nothing. I like it. I like the concept. It sounds a little bit like being free. Let's take a look here, see if there's anything else on here we need to talk about. Here's some other articles. We're not going to look at any of that. And there's the actual thing. And there is the word for place, binding, fixing of the consciousness. And there's the concentration, the dharana. Pretty straightforward, just what we've been talking about. And this is, Raj mentioned this earlier about doing the steps. Without preparation, nothing happens. You end up with a battle. So preparation. And now this is me speaking. Even brief concentration is success. Brief dhyana is success. And usually we notice it in the aftermath. We realize, wow, this was amazing. I was actually sitting here for about 20 seconds and I was doing absolutely nothing other than breathing. Wow, that's cool. Or if you're playing the piano or the harmonium, you look back, you say, wow, I really got absorbed in this. The room disappeared. Even Ma Tree walked through the room, now they think about it, and nothing happened. She just walked through the room and I was undisturbed, unaffected, uninvolved. Because if you have the awareness of being undisturbed while she's walking through, you're instantly disturbed. So a lot of these insights come in the aftermath. The repeated concentration or uninterrupted stream is called Dianna. If you haven't already done this, I would invite you, memorize these 3 words, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, concentration, meditation, and Samadhi, and then allow yourself to ponder. I don't mean set aside a time where now I'm going to sit down in my chair and contemplate on these things. You can do that too, but just let it be a friend. And then the awareness of these 3 pops up in your mind while you're taking a walk, while you're on your job, and you mentally take a break from the work you're doing, designing your actuarial, whatever the thing is that you're working on stuff. And all of a sudden, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Oh, I remember. So this principle becomes a companion. And then increasingly from that, there's never more any doubt that says, well, what is this meditation business? What is this Samadhi all about? It's like, wow, this makes perfect sense to me because I'm living it.
I may tell something that someone told me, which probably wouldn't mind.
Here comes a story. Oh, goody.
That this person who was fighting going to a normal, regular job because it was boring and not being against the system is gradually learning that actually going to work and being of service and being one-pointed costs far less energy than rebelling and trying to be distracted.
Yeah, you have to make.
And so he's figuring out how, because concentrating sounds like putting in effort and putting in energy, but yet maintaining that state of concentrated awareness and equilibrium saves him energy, and he can then go home and study at night instead of being more distracted, and thus knowing also to be distracted. I went
through what you just described. I went through that in my 20s. I worked in corporate America doing stuff and was complaining and grumbling and all that, and finally left. And I ended up, karma dragged me back into it. And the way at the time, the language for me internally was, I had to make peace with it.
Yeah.
And it's what you just described out of whoever told you that story. I went through that myself. And then magically, once I made peace with it and I understood how to do that, the way you just described, once I learned that, suddenly I was free.
Yes.
Then I was actually able to move on.
Kind of like my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I can tell it, and it applies.
I don't know who it was about, but it's just like my story.
Good.
We all have these stories. We are living this stuff.
Living the Yoga Sutras.
Living the Yoga Sutras. What a concept.
Even I, with my upper management, who is just heavily waiting on, productivity, and that I changed the word busy to steady, and that has been very nice.
Busy to steady. Yeah, she was grumbling before a couple of years ago about being too busy. And she was telling me something like how busy I am all the time. And I remember part of the conversation was, no, what you're seeing in me is not busy.
It's steady.
I learned it from somebody else. It's not busy, it's steady.
I like that one.
And the joy from my side, the joy of this is I've watched her internalize this thing. And so a couple of days ago, in the midst of putting together the course that we just published yesterday, so if you haven't signed up yet, go sign up and take a look at it. You'll like it. It's pretty good stuff. But she said to me all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, she just said, "I'm really feeling steady."
Yeah,
She
yeah. You were
commented
saying
on
like it's nice to or something like it's nice to see you something busy, and I said, may I reframe what you're saying because it's steady, something like that.
steady.
Yeah,
But
steady.
the point being that she has learned how to do that and to tell the difference when mind and habit is taken over and it's busy mode, and when it's just steady, just constantly moving in and out of various activities.
Steady as she.
Steady, steady, steady. And we can do that with constant awareness of Atman and all. So anyway, probably a good time to stop. We're going to come back in an hour and continue with the Kundalini article. Okay? Kundalini awakening.
Okay.
Okay? So thank you all for visiting and playing. Okay? Dharana, Dianna, and Samadhi. Roseanne's going to go cook now. Okie dokie. I'm going to finish doing Samadhi on my coffee.
We'll make some pumpkin pie. And some
Okay,
pumpkin.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Dooey.
Doei.
The Dutchies are taking over. They're taking over.
Bye, Mayor.
Bye, Mia.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Annika.
Bye, Sahil. Bye,
Bye, Sahil.
Rosalind, and Rosen.
See you soon. Yeah. All righty. I'm pushing the button. I'm going to push the button. 3, 2, 1. Silence after all.